Hey everyone, Pesmori here, and welcome to Stafford Case. Now we move on to Case 4. Mistletoe. Oh, I didn't know about this. Okay, that's a lie. I knew, but I don't remember this being here. I'll look at that later, I guess. Yeah, Case 4. Mistletoe. Considering, she's there. Why is her threat level Einstein? Einstein or whatever? His is Bowie, hers is Colt, but I'm pretty sure that's not her abilities threat level, that's her threat level, because she's always wielding one. Yeah, let's see what this entails. The name, Mithra Ruger. Skill, Severance Protection. Threat level, Oppenheimer. I knew it. There were more threat levels, but I feel like there's again, I feel like there are steps between tank and atomic bomb? That's a bit much. That girl's skill separates her body from any damage that may be done to it. No bullet can break her skin. Toxins move straight through her, not affecting her in the slightest. Her skill is activated subconsciously, remaining awake even when she sleeps. To put it in a word, her skill simply makes her invincible. So let's get right down to business. How did Miss Mithril die? And also, how did it happen inside the cell she was locked in? If I had to guess, it was a betrayal. Would you like some more? Yes, thank you. Huh? Note, is that black tea you're drinking today? It is. Seeing you drink it all the time, Sergeant, got me curious about the taste. Is that so? Would you like some more too, then? No. In the end, it's coffee for me. Showing your true colors, huh? Showing my preferences, to be more precise. Yeah. Look at you. Really opening up. Truly, how long has it been since we were able to put down the paperwork and enjoy a spot of tea? That's all thanks to Note's arrival, and the dramatic increase in the speed in which we solve our cases. He solved one in, slightly over 2 hours, maybe 4 hours. We don't have a single case on our backlog, and the last few days have been nothing but peace and quiet. You just had to say it. Idiot. Do you think we might even be able to take Christmas off this year? Wake up from whatever dream you're in. I've never seen a Christmas pass quietly in London. Last year, Santa Claus was wedged between the bells in the square. Is that a joke? I don't think it was a joke. Or maybe it was, but it's based on some truth. Like someone was stuck between the bells at the tower. Dressed up as Santa Claus. And the year before that, there was that incident where a nun was turned into a tree ornament. Oh. And 3 years ago, that bloke dressed as Rudolph stabbed a person to death with a candy cane, yeah? Ha! London. Doesn't surprise me, honestly. Can I really keep living here? Just buy a Kevlar vest. You'll be fine. But we finished that investigation up quickly, and the 4 of us were able to celebrate. We went straight to Johnny's secret spot. The 4? Who's Johnny? Ah! What's going on? Why the sudden mood shift? Johnny Medan. 2 years ago, he was a detective here at the Mana Affairs Division. Okay. Seems like he worked here before me. They all seem reluctant to give me any details, though. Did something, happen to him? You're all here. Who's this now? The chief? Sarge? Please tell us what business you have here and be on your way. No time for jokes. You've been summoned. The Underground called, and they asked for the Mana Affairs Division by name. They're pretty mad, huh? Underground? The building has a basement? We should be running. Detective Zena? Everyone, make for the front door if you want to live! Yeah. Calm down. Pull yourself together. There's no use running for the door. We should break through the window to make her escape instead. Yeah, I'm glad you're not overreacting, Brian. I don't want to die! Is this really curtains for us? Even Detective Brian's worked up about this? What sort of place is the Underground? The Bureau's ground floors manage to control the phenomena that happen out there in the world, and we try to reduce any shockwaves that may cause. They may cause. However, the work on the ground floors is nothing but a show we put on for the normal folks out there. The real Bureau business happens on the basement floors. So, what real business might that be? Human experiments and the like? And the like? Only the people in the Underground know exactly what's going on down there, and no one who goes down there returns to the ground floors. I mean, the last part's just a rumor, but such a long-lasting rumor must have its roots in truth. Just like... I should not proceed with that joke. So what does that mean for us now? We savor this cup of tea, because it may be our last. Just as I thought. I should have had a coffee. That's a woman? And you couldn't come up with a name for her? Mrs. M? Actually, what name does start with M? Michelle? Meredith? Milian? I don't think Milian is a real name. It's only that, one character from Fairy Tail. Whatever. They're here! You'll never catch me! Wait! Rather than pointlessly put up a fight. Don't come my way. Well, that was shocking. Why me too? Oh, okay, Mari. Okay, I played a Mori. Okay, that name gives me, it sends a shiver down my spine. I live in Asia. No one's called Mary here or Mari here. Okay, so I never had that issue. I've restrained the 3 who are resisting. I need 3 men to carry their unconscious. Wait, will I only need 3? Yeah. Requesting 3 men. I'll lead the rest of them downstairs. Who are you? No need to get too friendly. Just call me M. Okay, fair. But we do know her name's Mari. You said Mari before, no? Call me M. Well then, Miss M. Why are you taking us to the underground? The underground is where we house the facility that manages our Oppenheimers. I'm a guard down there. Today there was an incident in the facility. Your division will be investigating it. Are they going to introduce a threat level after Oppenheimer, or is Oppenheimer just that? I don't know, maybe Einstein? Oppenheimers? Haven't you seen the movie? Note, you memorized the threat level set for phenomena, right? Yeah, there's unarmed for the people viewed as harmless, Bowie, Cult, and Stein from lowest to highest, right? Yeah, that seems just about right. That's right. Out there, people think that Stein is the highest threat level. But in truth, there are 2 levels higher than that. Okay, good. Oppenheimer's. There is a level between Oppenheimer, between an atomic bomb and a tank. Seems reasonable. One threat level higher than Stein is Oppenheimer. I was wrong. Guys, come on! Okay, you see a tank. A tank can only destroy so much, okay? I'm pretty sure there are a few levels between tank and atomic bomb. What's next? The sun exploding? Supernova? Black hole? Wormhole? Oppenheimers pose a threat at a national level. Thus, it's the Bureau's job to capture the Oppenheimers and isolate them from the rest of society. Ah. That's probably where we're going. To the facility where they keep the Oppenheimers locked away. I see. Then, what's the next level up? The next level? You just said that there are 2 levels higher than Stein, right? What's after Oppenheimer? I said nothing of the sort. Huh? You did too? Did not. What are they trying to pull? They're keeping secrets. You two should really be getting ready for this next part. From here on out, I'm going to have to blindfold the both of you. Okay, as long as you don't peg me. Note, the threat levels were named after the people who dreamed up those weapons. That last part was named after the man who created the nuclear bomb. You know what that means, right? I just want to tell you one thing. Don't think common sense can make heads or tails of anything you're about to see. Well, that's just great. Here you are, an Indian black tea called Assam. Or call it, or maybe, I don't know, can you give me some chai tea? Grown in a Bureau certified tea garden. Could you hand that one to me, please? After that, we got coffee made from beans grown in strict conditions down in Panama. That'd be for me. Thanks. Finally, 5 gallons of tap water. That'll be for our friends lying here, please. Is this heaven? Oh, please, oh Lord, they all deserve to die. You mean hell? Cena. Pandy? Of course, I'm in hell, aren't I? What's that supposed to mean? What on God's green earth are we? Is it? I think it's more blue than green. The Bureau's underground section. This is the underground? But it's so bright. Well then, here we have the space reserved for our Oppenheimer staffers. In order to keep their stress levels to a minimum, we tried to construct it to be similar to the ground floors as we could manage. Eh? Oppenheimers? There were Oppenheimers under our feet this whole time? Yes. I guess the chief knows a little about what's going on down here. As the chief said, this facility was built to manage the staffers who were designated as the threat level Oppenheimer. They summoned us down here to investigate a murder that occurred in their facility. A murder? Inside the Bureau? That's right. Let me fill you in on what Note and I learned. At the time of the murder, this facility held 4 people with the threat level rating of Oppenheimer. The victim was one of those 4 people, a woman who went by the name of Mithril Roger. Roger was found dead inside of her private cell at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The cause of death is currently unknown. The problem is Roger's skill. Severance protection. Her skill disconnected her from anything that would have caused her bodily harm. Moreover, this skill was triggered outside of Roger's will and knowledge. In a word, she was invincible. Yet despite her skill, her body was found within a tightly controlled facility. The situation seems impossible through normal means. Our prime suspects are the 3 Oppenheimer-ranked staffers who were kept alongside her. Since they carry skills with the threat level of Oppenheimer, they may have made the impossible possible. Our job is to beat each one and find out who was able to harm Mithril. That's why we were brought down here. You there, God. What sort of joke are you lot trying to pull? Consider the value of these Oppenheimers and how much our nation just lost. To think such a thing could have happened despite all this surveillance. This sort of occurrence is simply unprecedented, no? Yet you lot are going to leave such a matter of national importance in the hands of the weakest link of our London branch, the Manor Affairs Division. Have you all lost your minds? So we're the weakest link? Alrighty then. That's not my decision. Then whose was it? Mine. Oh damn. Hey there, Brian. Is that perhaps... Indeed, your assumption's correct. Who are you exactly? What are you saying? That's Harmon Mond. He's the cabinet secretary. He's famous here at the bureau. Don't ever cut me off again. My apologies, sir. He didn't cut off anyone though, did he? He said what I was going to say, so he did indeed cut me off. What was that for? To make a direct show in the fact that I am in a position to use violence whenever I please, and without reason. Actions are more effective than words. One thing's for certain, you can immediately tell that he is a high-ranking official. Probably because he's wearing a white... everything. Cabinet Secretary, sir. I'm beside myself for forgetting the contribution you've made in founding the Bureau. I deserve your best shot. Hit me again. Wow! Bending over backward less than 5 seconds after a guy whacks you for no reason? Seriously, the man takes opportunism to a threat of a phenom. I see you all listening back there. As you may have figured out by now, I'm the one who called you here. My word, and what an honor that is! We had an incident we can't quite make sense of, and I heard you're all good at finding oddities, yes? Yes, that's our specialty. Chief, I'd love it if you shut the fuck up for a second. From this point on, this investigation is all yours. Blue hair over there will fill you in on the details. Sunglasses here doesn't look like he'll be much help, so he can come share a meal with me. Pardon? Oh, of course, I'll be honored. You, lad. You have your spork on you, yeah? I do, sir. Keep it turned over. I want to hear everything. I'm giving the 4 of you 2 hours. While I'm enjoying my meal, I want you to figure out everything about this case, then report back here. Just to warn you, this case is not about finding justice. It's about improving this facility and preventing such a thing from happening again. It's not enough to find our culprit. We just need to find out how and why this happened. If we can't figure all that out, there was no reason for calling you all down here. Please, make me see how valuable your division is. Yeah. What was that all about? Harmon Mond. Harmon Mond, commonly referred to by his rank of Cabinet Secretary, is the Deputy Director of the Phenomena Bureau. He laid the foundations for how we work at the Bureau by creating things like the threat level system. He doesn't do much in the outside world, but he is the de facto head of the Bureau, handling every key issue that lands on his desk by his lonesome. I heard rumors he was eccentric, but He put those rumors to shame. I'm just glad he didn't turn his harassment our way. I wouldn't breathe that sigh of relief just yet. Huh? We just came to know a lot of the truths wrapped up in this facility. If the cabinet secretary doesn't feel us as valuable enough to keep on living, there's a high possibility we'll be removed for secrecy's sake. Actually, since it's the cabinet secretary we're talking about, I'm sure he'd do just that. To sum everything up, we just gotta solve the case down here. Then we've got nothing to worry about. That's our specialty. That's quite the arrogant way of putting it. But it's just as Note says, our job remains what it always is. Whether our lives hang in a balance or not, nothing changes. We've got to put everything we have into solving this case. Huh, that we must. Well then, shall we be off as usual with our minds perfectly at ease? I don't think that's what she meant. Shut up, phone. Shall we start by having a look at the body? God, could you please lead us in that direction? Right away. Follow me. Wow. This is the scene of the crime. A prison cell made of glass? This feels like a giant aquarium tank. Also, are these two rooms attached to each other? Are these the victims' living quarters? Yes, all of our Oppenheimer's living quarters are just like this. And the room to the right? That's a lounge where our Oppenheimers can go let off a little steam. And not just the victim, all Oppenheimers use that room. Where's the Nintendo Switch? Where's the PS5? Where's the Xbox Series X? Actually, no one's buying that shit. Where's the PC? Where's the TV, man? Actually, was there a TV just now? Why is it attached to the victim's room, though? I'll explain that later. I see the body's still in there. No plans for an autopsy? We can't. I'm sorry. That's as much as I could tell you about that. The cabinet secretary allowed me to only answer questions about this facility. Well then, we have to figure out the rest over the course of our investigation, which is 2 hours. Can't be helped. Are you ready? Always. Good. Let's investigate any part of the room you deem suspicious. Nothing else? Is she wearing a straitjacket? Come to think of it, this is the first time I'm seeing an actual corpse since I joined the division. Normally the police would have already carted off the body. My apologies to the deceased, but I can't make out much with her like this. I'll have to turn the body. You're surprisingly calm about all this. Back home I saw a few bodies that were closer to Swiss cheese. What? The more I find out about the place, the more surprised I am to know you lived there. 1, 2, 3... oh, it won't move? Come now. What a weakling. Move, bitch! Besides the fact that I can't move her at all, it seems I'm not even grabbing hold of the body. They said that the victim's severance skill happened without her knowledge. Even though she's dead? It's not that the guards left her here on purpose. It's that they can't move her. Well, now we have to assess the body based on appearances alone. First things first, I see no signs of struggle on the body, though it's impossible for her to be injured regardless. I can't get a good look at the victim's face, but she looks like she's nothing but skin and bones. Let's record what we know so far then. Are you not gonna read the memories of the body? I can't touch people. Right. Sorry. No need to apologize. It's due to my own shortcomings. Just the circumstances I find myself in, having my hands shaking like leaves. Even in a dire situation, the sergeants can't touch the body? This seems like a simple matter of reluctance. Or something deeper, which we'll find out about. Did something happen to her? Oh, oh man. That's the victim's bed. I hear the labored breaths of someone in pain. The more recent the memory, the worse the sound. Was the victim dealing with an illness or injury? It seems quite likely that the victim's death was far from quick, taking her slowly instead. I hope we can find what caused it. Surprisingly, it's as though she's been provided everything she needs. Actually, she's actually better stocked than we are in our office. Most of these are top-shelf products. Yet, there's very little trace on everything. Was the victim a stickler for cleanliness? That's rather odd. I'm getting almost nothing from their memories either. There's a note in one of these drawers. From the marks on the paper, it seems she was counting something. Indeed, it seems like something you'd often find written on the walls of a solitary confinement cell. Maybe it's because I haven't seen my fair share of solitary confinement cells, but I can't think of an explanation for this. Again, quite odd. I can read memories over the span of an entire month, but I can't read any sign of this drawer being opened. I don't see a lot of other things she could keep herself entertained, so to not use this drawer for a whole month. What does she do every day? Probably use the thing over there. I think we've investigated everything we can. So leaving the body like that is because you have no means of moving it, huh? Isn't it okay for you to at least answer me that? Alright, once your investigation is complete, we're going to pull up the whole floor and ship her off. As expected, the underground works on different scales. Imagine a staffer that requires so much effort just to move her body. They said that according to her bureau file, poison doesn't affect her either. So how was she killed? How on earth was she killed? Maybe it wasn't something on Earth. I feel so high right now. He said I could ask whatever about the facility, but do you think I could get the victim's bureau file? Sure, here you go. Ah, thank you. Huh? 2 documents? Ooh, okay. Let me read this. Okay, transported to the facility at 1960X. Why X? Just put a number there. Maybe 1964. October 15th. No record from her before the time. Roger's skill disconnects her body from anything deemed threatening, whether that be physical or chemical. Most threats are immediately severed automatically, regardless of Roger's will in that matter. But there are exceptions depending on her mindset. Ooh, okay, this thing. Okay. Her mindset. What her skill deems threatening can change depending on how Roger thinks of something. For example, alcohol is toxic to the body, but Roger seems to be ignorant to the fact. Thus her skill doesn't cut it off its effects, and her body is allowed to absorb it. Opposite that, even though oysters are non-toxic foodstuffs, Roger once witnessed a person die from food poisoning after eating them, so her body doesn't process them. So poison does work if she doesn't know it's poison? No way. They managed to write about her skill in such detail. Is this only because she's an Oppenheimer? It has nothing to do with her threat level. The Bureau has bureauphile addendums on every staffer, but like I said before, we can't access that information since our clearance is too low. Well, that's upsetting. If we had access to that much information, we could have solved our cases in no time. Are they really able to pick up on this because we're that low on the totem pole? No, from what I know, the Matter Affairs Division was demoted because 2 years ago, and you weren't able to find any records of the victim from before her time here. That's right. I haven't been here that long myself, so I can't tell you the exact circumstances, but we've got absolutely no information on what Mithril did before coming here. That's odd. It shouldn't be that hard for the Bureau to track down information on one woman. Enough about Bureau files. I'd like to know about how you inmates spend most of their time. Your inmates. Wait, is it raining? Ah, it's raining. Alright, let me fill you in. Would you mind leaning against this wall as you do? Alright. All our inmates live in glass cells, as you can see here. As a rule, contact between inmates is strictly forbidden. We serve the inmates whatever food they request, but they aren't allowed to refuse meals. Besides a few prohibited items, we supply our inmates with whatever they request. In addition, inmates are allowed to spend some free time in the lounge every 10 days to relieve them of any built-up stress. For the safety of everyone, inmates are not allowed the free use of their skills. However, we do allow them to use their skills every 15 days. With everyone abiding by these rules, we have seen zero health problems, but for some reason, this inmate recently started losing a lot of weight. So they're allowed to use the skills once every 15 days? That's right. We have mana detecting staff set up here and there. When an Oppenheimer uses his skill, or her skill, a large amount of mana is released, triggering an alarm. That goes for all but the ones whose skills are always active. We have a record on who used their skill at what times right here. What happened if the inmates if inmates who use their skills 2 times within What would happen if inmates were to use their skills 2 times within a 15-day period? The restraints they wear around their necks would inject a neurotoxin into their bodies, killing them. It's brutal, but there's simply no other choice. You have no idea what damage an Oppenheimer's skill is capable of. If that's the case, why not ban the use of their skills every day? Great! Thank you for your statement, Miss M. No response? Is she just refusing to respond to anything but questions about the facility? Well then, shall we investigate the lounge next door? No, I would like you to investigate the room after we meet with our suspects. I think it would be more efficient if we collect the suspect's fingerprints and footprints first. Right. Since all the inmates used that room, it sounds like the right move. Where do we have to go to meet your other Oppenheimers? Here, a map of the facility. Well then, where shall we head to first? Really? Making me choose? What is this anyway? Great, I have to choose now. I'll go by alphabetical order. This cell belongs to the female Oppenheimer, Shia Barafin, the most dangerous person in this facility. And hot too. I mean, that woman. It looks like she's whispering something behind that glass wall, but I can't quite make it out. Is it soundproof? That woman has already tried to escape this facility 6 different times. I would suggest keeping your distance as much as possible. You could fall victim to her skill. And what skill is that? Her bureau file. Hey, let me see! Compulsory trust? Then it allows her to manipulate a person's psyche. I see. To put it in even simpler terms, she can make people unconditionally believe anything she says. I'm pretty sure attractive people already have that skill. I don't think that's dangerous enough to compare her to a nuclear bomb, but say that she breaks into a facility that launches the nuclear bombs. Then she goes, "Can you nuke, I don't know, Texas? Oh, can you nuke Florida?" And then the guy's like, "Okay." Boom. Or, "Can you launch all the nukes everywhere?" Create a Fallout AR experience. No headset required. For free, everyone. There. I'm just saying. She's packing quite the dangerous weapon then. I have to agree. I don't think it merits locking the woman up. Note, you're still not all too familiar with phenomena, right? It's not big explosions and things breaking to bits that make someone dangerous. Skills are all about how you use them. So even though Pandy's skill doesn't cause destruction, she's still rated an S-Stein. You're an S-Stein? Yes. Did I not tell you? I guess I never asked. that's higher than what I imagined, but you're not able to see clearly into the past, right? It's not like you can get any visual information. That may be true now, but back then, when she was able to touch bodies... Hey! Right, you never heard that. Never heard what? Back to business. And speaking of this Shia Barafin skill, being able to manipulate a person's mind normally ranks a staffer at S9 or higher. That's because they could manipulate other staffers into using their own skills. But according to her bureau file, Barafin is able to control a number of people at once. Plus, it looks like she has a nearly unlimited range. On top of that, if she were able to record her skill onto some sort of voice recording, she could manipulate the minds of hundreds of people at a time. Okay then, I understand the danger now. If you were to jump into a conversation with her, she could manipulate us as well. That puts us between a rock and a hard place. It's going to be difficult to get her statement. I would also like to get in there and investigate her room, but there's going to be a troll with her in it. That will be a problem. Did you kill her? Just a little something to put her to sleep from her next restraint. We'll be able to move her somewhere else, so just tell me when you've finished looking around. Since her skill can even work through a recorded version of her voice, I'd rather not use my skill here. Brian, I'm leaving this to you. Indeed, I'll do what I can. It seems that the items on this shelf were used just a little while ago. I checked, but I don't see any signs of a pen around here. That's probably a prohibited item for her. After all, her skill can be transmitted through whatever written word as well. I haven't seen her file. Unable to measure. Sentences. Okay, that's a bit general. Shia can... Oh, okay, here it is. Shia can use her skill on a sentence she creates. Her catalysts and anyone who comes in contact with this sentence will believe it without a doubt. Once she used her skill to say what... when she used her skill to say she was royalty, the people who heard her voice believed wholeheartedly she was actually royalty. Even those who heard a recording of that statement exhibited the same symptoms as those who heard it without firsthand. Moreover, when Barafin wrote the same sentence as text, those who read and understood the sentence also wholeheartedly believed her to be royalty. In using her skill this way, she brought countless free market capitalists and celebrities under her control. Okay, I see. With each escape attempt, the restrictions grew incredibly tighter. Yeah. None of the trace evidence is standing out to me. What do you see? It's almost too obvious to mention, but I can only see Barafin's footprints in here. None of her movements look sus either. Wasted effort. Really? That's it? Okay then. There are smudges on the glass. Whatever it is, it's sort of slick. Maybe lotion? Why is it only smeared here? No, it wasn't smeared. The trace looks like it was scrubbed off. So it was erased, scrubbed away like a stain? Seeing as though it's almost dry, It's been here a few days. You think it'd be related to our case? Maybe. Was something like this in the victim's room too? Whoa, where'd you come from? That's what we used to pass her meal. That's how we pass the meals to her. Compared to our other detainees, making any sort of contact with Berefin is dangerous, so we even have to be careful at meal times. So this was installed so Berefin's voice doesn't make it out of this room. Could other items be passed through here too? I don't think that's the case. The only trace I can detect is that of a tray used to serve food. Then I don't see any possible way it could be used for anything else. Nothing stands out as particularly suspect. She doesn't have all that much stuff to begin with. I bet they limit the amount of personal effects you can bring in here. I think that lounge will have more of us for us to investigate. I have no idea what sort of person Miss Berefin is, so I can't really tell you. I wish we could get a statement from her. That would be dangerous. The last time she used her skill was 16 days ago. She's allowed to use it now. Speaking of which, Miss M, when Miss Berefin used her skill 16 days ago, what lies did she tell? We haven't figured that one out yet. Pardon, isn't that dangerous to have out there? No need to worry. All surveillance personnel working here at the time she used her skill have been replaced. They went that far? I guess that's how dangerous her skill is. Well then, shall we say we're finished investigating the room? We should move on to our next destination. Okay, I said alphabetically, right? A, B, C, D. Okay, D first. Oh, he likes drawing. That's adorable. Wait, hold on. Let me see the drawing. Oh, it's a guy in a monocle. Okay. This set belongs to the Oppenheimer Douglas Touchstone, a male. When you talk to him, be careful what you say. Be careful? Is he super sensitive or something? Just from the look of him, I can guess why. You've got to be kidding me. A boy? Wow. Investigators? Huh? Sir, are you a private investigator? No, I mean, I did work at the office of a private investigator before. Wow! Wowee! You think he might explode if I keep going? You should do something before that happens. I've never even had a conversation with someone so young. Do you like investigators? Oh my god, how did you know? You really are an investigator. I bet you can figure out everything there is to know about a person with a single handshake. I mean, it's not like I've shaken your hand. A fine point. As expected from a star investigator. Seems like an ordinary kid. Why keep a kid like this? I see. I don't. Let me see. Okay, Doug. Okay, not this one. Here. Casual information formation. No. What the fuck did I just say? Casuation? Wait, what is this world? Causal object formation. Okay, that's nice. Which one is it? Okay, here. Douglas Touchstone. Nicknamed Doug, carries a skill that isn't clear because of his peculiar nature. What skill is that his skill creates an object, then it alters memories to make those around it believe the object existed here before. The first object Doug created was a birthday cake. Doug's parents firmly believed it was they who bought the cake, and Doug, the user of the skill, believed the same. However, these were memories altered by the skill, and the bakery the parents thought they went to was actually closed that day due to the baker's personal affairs. Through further investigation, it will be necessary to clarify the limitations of the objects he can create and the extent of the manipulation happening to memories. Oh, that's great. We have, great. Okay, that's great. Doug Touchstone. Skill: causal object formation. He can make anything he desires. He can make anything? Dangerous indeed, if someone so immature were to fashion some sort of weapon. But the scariest part of this skill is that every item he creates has a direct effect on those around him. An effect? Once when Doug made himself a cake, no one around him thought that the cake appearing out of nowhere was the slightest bit odd. Blah. They all thought that the cake had always been there. They believed it was a cake his parents bought for him. It was only after they realized that the cakery was closed that they figured out Doug had created it using his skill. That his skill reworks memories. In that way, the object he creates meld seamlessly with this world. To think a kid that cute could have a skill so utterly terrifying. Sergeant, they keep children here? Indeed. What luck. What? Usually a staffer's skill manifests itself at the age of 9. The younger the child, though, the more difficult it is for them to control their skill. There are even times when they activate a skill unknowingly. If a child is young carrying this dangerous of a skill, unaware of what said skill, mind you, were to let loose upon this world, I don't even want to imagine what might happen. I guess you're right, but I really can't fathom it. Don't. This is a world where babies come out from the womb wielding nuclear missiles. I mean, yeah. It's better if you don't fathom such implications. It's enough that you simply understand that they're possible. Still, don't you think this kid was involved in our case? I sure hope he wasn't. I happen to like children. But, what are investigators like you doing here? Are you here on a case? Was there a murder? It certainly seems that way. Wow! Tell me if there's anything I can do to help. I've read all those books over there, so I'm real smart. Miss Maury said so herself. Would you like to help us out now? If you could recount the events of the past few days, that would be a really good start. Oh, sure, yeah. Then, could you touch this wall and tell the nice woman everything? I came here about a month ago. I haven't gone into any trouble and everyone's real nice. I haven't even used my skill once. I haven't had any long talks with anyone either. I've been good, huh? To think I get to give a witness statement to a bunch of inspectors. feels like I'm a character in a novel or something. How exciting. Huh. I've always wanted to be a suspect in a case. And also, there should be enough. God, have you by chance told the lad about the death of the victim? No, we haven't. He's at an age where he's not great at controlling his emotions, so we figured it'd be better if he didn't know. Well, I made a record of his statement. Nothing's easy with kids. His statement's a mess. I think it's enough, though. We could at least get a sense of what's going on. Even if we can't get a sense of things, we have no guarantee if any of that was true. Kids, especially, are known for telling fibs. Fibs. I'd sooner trust a politician than a child I just met. Hey, that's just you. Kids are too truthful, okay? They don't give a shit about feelings. I'm just saying, a lot of kids called me fat. And a lot more kids told me I was weird. They are ruthless. Meanwhile, politicians be like, everything's fine. But they're not. Sergeant, didn't you say that you like kids? I like them better than I do adults. The lies are easier to see through. She may not be wrong. In the statement Doug just made, I can see at least 2 lies. Is this really necessary? I guess it was necessary. Doug, you lied to us, saying you didn't use your skill. That's a lie, wasn't it? No! If you keep lying to us... I already said I wasn't lying! I don't... I think I'm about to make the kid cry. It's alright. Don't cry, little one. Here, a piece of candy. Yum, 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 yum. This kid will not survive in the real world. No, I think a heavy-handed interrogation of a child will only turn out to be counterproductive. Do you have anything else besides the abnormal heartbeat that can prove he was lying during the statement? As Detective Brian said, it's gonna be hard to get an answer out of him using the abnormal heartbeat alone. I've got no other choice. I have to connect some other information to Doug's statement to figure out his lies. Gotcha. Doug, there is a record of when the Oppenheimers in the facility used their skills. Ah, you said you didn't use your skill here, but there's a record of you using it. You lied to us. I'm sorry. I'm a bad boy. I'm the worst boy in the whole world. I wouldn't go that far. There's no one in the world who's never told a lie. It's not because of the lie. It's because I used my skill. I went and used it again, so I have to keep living here because I'm a bad boy. They're teaching them this from this young an age that using skills is some sort of sin. I'm not sure about that exactly, but I would see how he would perceive that as such. That way, the Bureau is able to maintain control of the staffers. We heard that your skill allows you to create whatever you want. So what did you make? I don't know. Whenever I use my skill, it's like the thing's been there forever. So even I don't know what I made. Even the maker doesn't know what he's crafted? Well, that's not good. Doug can't tell what he made, but the person who observes him might have figured it out. Let's ask around later. Doug, don't you have something you'd like to tell us? Huh? You can't fool adults. There was one more lie in the statement you made, right? Detective Stina, about the abnormal heartbeat here? Uh-huh. It shows a contradiction, right? Seriously, I just can't keep up with how fast you are. Let me point something out a few times. Am I really that fast? Well, thank you for confirming my suspicions. There's no other reason for this abnormal heartbeat. This one's a lie. Doug, you were lying about not being able to know the people here, weren't you? You know about that? Because we're investigators. Of course! You can see what sort of relationship two people have just from the looks of their faces. Yeah, whatever. Sounds like he thinks investigators have some sort of supernatural power. Considering that the work we do is closer to psychic work than inspecting work, he's not wrong. To tell the truth, out of all the people here, there was one I've gotten to know. Who's that? Miss Mithril. That would be Mithril Roger, the victim. Unlike the other people, I get to see Miss Mithril when I go to the lounge. Since there's glass between us, I don't know her voice, but when she writes letters on the glass and breathes on them like this, we can send messages to each other. When I got caught, Miss Mari did get angry though. When do you usually talk with Mithril about? Mostly about books. I told her about the awesome mystery novels I just read too. I just read, too. A mystery novel? It's called Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. Nah, just joking. It's called The Tragedy at the House of Mirrors. It's so cool. It's in the lounge. You should go read it too. I'll check it out if I have a spare minute. I do enjoy a good mystery novel. It's about a young woman who becomes the target of a serial killer. So the man who once fell in love with her makes a plan to protect her. However, the plan actually ends up getting her killed. So it ends up with the man killing himself. Why did the kid have to go and spoil the ending like it's nothing? Have you talked to kids about anything? They spoil shit without knowing. It pisses me off, but I can't blame them. I do the same thing too. When you put kids in mystery novels, you're setting yourself for nothing less than an explosion. That's true. Well then, when was the last time you saw Mithril? Last I was in the lounge My last time in the lounge was last week, so 6 days ago. At the time, did you notice anything strange? Anything strange? Nope. I see. I wouldn't call it strange, but Miss Mitchell was looking a bit pale. She looked a little skinnier, too. That reminds me. She said that she normally doesn't feel well once a month, so she takes medicine to help with the pain. Pain meds once a month? Yeah, once a month? Was she suffering from some sort of illness? But the guard didn't say. Probably just a period. I honestly had the same thought. However, about her taking pain medication. Shall we stop there with our questions for the kid? We've got other places to check out. Okay. You're going already? Of course you are. Since you're investigators, I bet you're real busy. Nice to meet you all. I love mystery novels, so it's always been a dream of mine to be wrapped up in a case like this. Please don't be the murderer. You want to be involved, not solving the case? A person like me could never solve a case. I could never be an investigator. Because I'm a bad boy. Please don't be the murderer. I'm just happy to be talking with you, Mr. Investigator. And be like one of the characters in my novel. We'll be back. When we do, we'll be sure to tell you how we solved the case. Woohoo! Please do! Note, let's move on. Okay. Bye-bye! That's pretty damn sad, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Elroy. This cell belongs to the male Oppenheimer, Morlo Elroy. There's something that strikes me as free-spirited about the guy. His look makes me think I see him hanging around a summer resort. His look makes me think he'd steal your girl away. That's quite the rude first impression to have. You think he'd say that after he steals Pandy away from you, no? Wait, what? What are you even talking about? Shall we introduce ourselves? Hold it! I'd like to speak with him first. But of course, my dear sir! Suddenly calling me sir out of nowhere. Surf's up, dude! Hello. Yo, bro! Long time no see, muchacho! Huh? Are you talking to me? Course I am! Well then, once more I'm back. I'm at your beck and call, ha! This way this man speaks gives me weird old guy vibes. No, he's like an old guy trying to be hip and hop. He sure is treating Note here with an air of affection. That's not good. Is Note even capable of returning the sentiment? Note, do you know this man? No, this is the first time we're meeting. Makes sense. It wouldn't be easy to meet an Oppenheimer out on the streets indeed. Are you sure you have the right person? Yeah, I'm sure. Detective not your case, right? Holy shit. Perhaps it's that Elroy here met a different detective case? What do you mean by that? His bureau file. Does she want me to figure out the rest on my own? Great, let me read it. Retrograde memory transmission. Oh, does that mean that he can read minds? Okay, let me see. Elroy's skill sends his memories to the past. However, we've been unable to observe the moment in which he does this. The only thing outsiders are able to observe are the moments when he received those memories, and mana is also released the moment he receives these future memories. What the fuck does this mean? Oh! I see! Oh! Okay. As much has yet to be discovered about time itself. It's unclear whether he sends a snapshot of his memories to the past or if everything besides his physical body is transported to the past. Elroy claims that the maximum time he's able to go back to is 10 days, but in truth, we don't really know. Elroy claims that through the use of his skills, he has lived roughly 20 years longer than his physical form. Once when he sent his memory back 10 minutes ago, he had to wait 10 minutes before he was able to use his skill again. Oh, okay, I see. That makes hardly any sense. Retrograde memory transmission? From the name alone, I can't tell what sort of skill that might be. Let me explain it in layman's term. It's time travel! Time travel? Like with a time machine? Righto! I can travel to the past. That's basically what my skill entails. However, the only thing able to be sent back is my memories, not my body. I guess you could say it's the difference between me and a time machine, yeah? So you're able to transmit the memories of your present self to the past? That's where the retrograde part of the memory transmission comes in. No, that can't be! A skill that transcends time itself! Is such a thing even possible? Up until this very moment, I've never heard of such a thing. I mean, I guess you don't watch enough anime, huh? However, such a thing can be possible for an Oppenheimer. Right, I understand it now. I know how you know me, Mr. Elroy. The moment you came to know my name is right here. Mr. Elroy, according to this record, you released a large amount of mana on the 10th of this month. Yeah, that's right. According to your bureau file, whenever you receive memories from the future, that's when you exude such large amounts of mana. In other words, on that day, you received memories from the future. Which brings me back to my point in all this. The way you know my name. It's simple. You have a memory of meeting me before. But, note? Didn't you say that you've never met the guy? Perhaps it isn't about them having met in the past. In all the memories Elroy acquired from the future, there must have been a memory of meeting Note. That must be it. That's exactly what happened. You don't disappoint, bro. Why you gotta call us bro? And what exactly did I do in the future? I'm not sure if future is the appropriate term when we're talking about memories he acquired 10 days in the past. This is already confusing. So let's call Elroy's experiences the previous timeline. Mr. Elroy, how exactly did we meet in the previous timeline? It's rather obvious. We met when you came to investigate that Roger woman's death. Speaking of which, would you mind making an official statement about her? Oh, of course, good buddy. Well then, please rest your hand on the wall and begin. The incident you're talking about played out the exact same way in the previous timeline. I was shocked. I saw that woman the day before everything went down, and she looked so healthy. Just like in this timeline, you all came and did your investigation. Future you solved the case without a hitch. Then you told me everything that happened. That's when I used my skill. And I returned to December 10th. I think that pretty much covers it. First off, we can say that he probably wasn't lying. I caught the criminal in the future timeline. You sure did, and I must say your reasoning was quite impressive. How else could I call you all my bros? Do you know how the victim died? Course! Then please tell us. I can't. What? Is it because he really knows nothing at all? The fact that he knows who the culprit is and says nothing is definitely sus. Hold your horses! I got reasons why I can't tell you who did it. Reasons? The first reason is that any interference on my part might alter the future. It's not a question of might. Plus, we have to prove our findings to the cabinet secretary to show him our value. And we have no idea what might happen if we try to cheat. And the second reason, bro, is because you need to fully grasp what's happening with this case. What on earth is that supposed to mean? Can't answer that. I might accidentally give you a hint. Alrighty then. That's all I gotta say about that. Head off some other place. Shoo! I got one more question for you. Mr. Elroy, you knew this was gonna happen, right? Why not put a stop to it before it began? About that. If you catch up to the you in the other timeline, I'll tell you then. Well, it seems as though I found out all I can here. As for our time traveler, Miss Morlo Elroy, I have no idea what to think. We've met up with each of our suspects now. And seriously, not one of their skills make a lick of sense. I'd have to agree, they've completely changed the way I perceived phenomena. Sergeant? Yes? These Oppenheimers. They're not locked up here because they've committed a crime, huh? They're just forced to live out their lives here because they were born Oppenheimers. I know it's for the safety of the world, but is this really okay? Did I say something weird again? No, you just hit the nail on the head. You're clearly in the right, and the three of us are in the wrong. I'm ashamed to say it, but life as a staffer in London seems to have desensitized us when it comes to morals. When I was young, I got so angry with how irrational this all was that one day, I just resigned myself to it and started thinking there was nothing I could do about it. Note, it's all because you grew outside of London that you're able to see us turning the blind eye to everything. Of course, since it's you... Why are you looking at me like that? Just because. Well, let's talk about this later on. After all, if we don't solve this case, there might not be a later on for us. Okay, let's do that then. Next, we should return to where they found the body, right? Yes, to the room next door. We've got a lounge to investigate. Even at second glance, you can see that this place is set up weird. It's like those two rooms are actually one. They must have a reason for setting it up like this. Though when we asked M, she didn't have an answer for us. She'd said that fuck. Yeah, she said that, yes. She said she'd tell us about it later on though, right? There's no one here who can remember why it was set up like this. Not even the architect remembers why. What? Thus we're led to believe that the odd layout from this building was from an Oppenheimer. And we guess it was Doug who used his skill to make it like this? Of course! Doug's skill can manipulate matter and the memories associated with it. That would make sense considering even the architect doesn't remember making it like this. But what exactly is the pot he created? In the facility created to isolate each inmate, it would be rather odd to attach a recreational space directly to an inmate's cell. They would have never approved the construction of such a space right next to an inmate's cell. No way. Then did Doug create this whole room? We can't be sure of anything. It's just our guess. Then does that mean this lounge never existed in the first place? This room came to exist in an instant, but no one found that sus? Yes, even though the hypothesis seems illogical, no one can say for sure. This is the true power of an Oppenheimer. If this whole room is a single entity created with Doug's skill, how does this affect our case? And why did Doug wish for a lounge like this in the first place? Someone mentioned that the Oppenheimers were only allowed to bring personal items into their rooms after a thorough inspection from the guards, yes? We can't tell how exactly the victim died, but if there was a murder in this case, it's probably one of the items in that lounge. Let's examine every book on the shelf and every fingerprint. You've got to be thorough. Alright. I got footprints from all 4 Oppenheimers, including our victim. However, there are a few days between each set. It seems that no 2 people have ever set foot in this lounge at the same time. That's probably because contact between the inmates is generally forbidden. Why is she looking at him? like I get why he's looking at him, but shouldn't she be looking there? What's going on? The oldest footprints are those of Shia Berefin, left 1 month ago. That's why a little while back, it seems that the other inmates are coming in here every 10 days or so. Maybe because she used her skill recently, they're putting more restrictions on her. Possibly, it makes sense. Where are the other clues? Oh. 1, 2... Sink? Ah, wall. I couldn't tell from the outside, but this wall is glass. You can see into the victim's room from here. I see evidence of messages being written here. I can hear breathing and feel a puff of heat. Doug did say he wrote letters on the glass and blew on them to communicate with the victim. That's probably the trace you're picking up. Then there's a high likelihood that the other suspects used a similar method to communicate with the victim. All the detainees are prohibited from talking with each other, but it looks like the victim was the exception to the rule. There's a high probability each of our suspects knows the victim well. That could lead to a possible grudge from one of them. Oh wait, I pressed skip. Where's save? Where's save? I need to save! Oh man. It's cold. This must be a fridge too. Since the door's transparent, we can't see inside. They've got all sorts of medication stored in there. The door's locked. I can only see M's fingerprints on the lock, and it seems as though our inmates can't open it. Pretty obvious, really. Even the weakest drugs can be toxic in the right amounts. Speaking of which, this seems to be the strong medicines you only see at hospitals. Still, it seems like it's opened quite often, at least once each day. And speaking of drugs, we have a suspect saying the victim took pain medication. Doc says she took them once a month. You think they keep poison in there too? They said it didn't work on the victim, but this is a place frequented by our inmates, so I doubt they keep highly toxic substances in here. Still, there's always a chance someone might think of overdosing as a form of suicide, which is why it's probably locked. Did I not investigate the fridge? Oh. It looks like the fridge is stocked with food. Ah! Look! What is it? They have caviar! A whole box of it! You can tell that the liquor is just as expensive just from looking at it! With only 4 people locked up in such a large space, I guess they got the money to splurge on the good stuff. Oh. I'd be okay with living down here 1 day a week. I know you're joking, but you should refrain from saying such things. It's rude to those who are actually locked up down here. Speaking of good stuff, the tea Miss M brought you was pretty good, right? Was that stuff top shelf too? Maybe once a month. Okay. Hey! Huh? What else is there? Oh! That small-ass book! I've been searching for you for 10 minutes! I am not okay. Okay. Shut up, phone. This is the last thing I need right now. Detective Brian, have you read any of these books? Let's see. There are prints on most of these books, but there's only one book with a victim's print on it. The title, The Tragedy at the House of Mirrors. I heard that somewhere before. It's the mystery novel Doug was talking about. Ah, the one he spoiled the ending of? This is the only one with the victim's prints on it. Yes. Maybe he wasn't a huge fan of reading. Huh? What is it? Someone wrote something down. It's on this page. Looks like your average illustration to me. I don't see anything that looks like letters. Let's see. Look carefully. You see the ink on the top left of the corner, the ink smudge. There was a message written here. Someone must have rubbed it away with spit or something. To write a message in such small letters, you'd have a hard time finding it if you didn't read the book cover to cover. It's highly likely that our inmates were sending each other messages when the guards couldn't find them. Sergeant, you restored the message written on the page before. Could you do that again? Unfortunately, the letter didn't press down very hard with their writing instrument, so it would be a very hard ask. I could only make out 2 words, meals and die. Die? Then this could be related to our case. I'd say I'm about 90% certain you're right. If only we could figure out who wrote the message. Could you figure that out, Detective Brian? No. When whoever wrote it closed the book, all the trace was compressed into nothingness. It would be hard to figure that out with my skill. Ah, there's something tucked into the back page. Impressions? I see. Duck spoiled the ending here too. Hehehe. It says that all inmates who read the book must write their impressions about it. Then it seems that only one of the 3 read the novel? Very helpful, thank you. She didn't give a shit. Maybe that's why she died. Then the person who wrote the message must have been one of these 3. I should take this list of impressions with me. Shall we tear out the page and take it with us? Can we really just rip a page out of the book? It'll be fine. This is an emergency. I think we've seen all we can. But like Pandy said, isn't there something in here that was responsible for the victim's death? I don't see anything in here that could have passed by the victim's skill and killed her. I'm not sure a weapon that can break into her skill even exists. Note, is there anything that stands out to you? There is. Oh? The victim's skill is always in effect, and it normally severs the connection with anything that could harm her body. But the one thing that's been able to have a noticeable effect on her body is in this lounge. The only thing able to kill the victim is the medicine in the fridge. The medicine in the fridge? Specifically the pain medication, right? Yes, there's a high probability that the victim could have overdosed on pain medication. No, the victim's skill severs the effect of all toxins. They said it stops poisons, but then how would the pain medication work on her? According to her bureau file, the target of her severance skill changes with her mindset. Painkillers weren't created to bring harm to a person's body. Thus, it's possible that her skill doesn't sever those effects. Actually, it's extremely likely. According to Doug, after all, the victim said that she took pain medication. I see! That means the medicine worked on our victim. There's no way she would continue taking the medication if it had no effect on her. Your logic is sound, Note. Ah! Then maybe the victim took too many pills on accident and... No, we're talking about that before. We talked about it before. For pain medications to be that toxic, you'd have to be taking them at high doses over a long period of time. If it were just a mistaken dosage, it wouldn't be enough to kill her. So maybe someone was slowly feeding her high doses of pain medication over a long period of time. Then it's as we thought. Murder, huh? With the target locked up in a facility, carefully monitored and controlled, to think someone could be slipping her a toxic substance for long enough. There's a high possibility someone altered the food distribution in some way. Their meals. It's hard to consider this a coincidence, but first of all, we need to know how food is distributed. Miss M, how are meals prepared here? Since that's a question about the facility, you can answer that, right? We give our meals 3 times a day. Breakfast at 7, lunch at 12, and dinner at 6. We normally prepare what our Oppenheimers request, but on days they don't put in an order, we serve them a balanced meal. We have a person who's in charge of supplying the ingredients, but I handle everything from the cooking to the distribution of the food. Wow, you're more than a guard. You're a caretaker. Then I dish out all the food on plastic trays and deliver it to our Oppenheimers. Then you cook it all yourself? That means there's no room for anyone to slip something into it. Is there perhaps anything of note about how you prepare or deliver the food? There is. To prevent any sort of sound escaping Barafin's room, I pass the food through the special door. Talked about it before. As for the victim, I grind up 20 tablets of pain medication and sprinkle it onto her meal. What did you just say? No, why? Why on earth would you presume to do such a thing? Why else? To maintain the health of our inmates. It's one of the principles this facility is founded upon. That's ridiculous. That sort of thing wouldn't make an inmate more healthy. It really does. It's one of our founding principles. Is anyone else finding it extremely odd that she's serious about this? Saving again. No? I'm pretty sure you're right to think that, Thena. The strange thing is that our guard, M, isn't able to think logically about this one issue in particular. It's like something's derailing her thought process. Is this the reason for Miss M's strange claims? Because of that? Compulsory trust. That's Shia Barafin's skill, right? Indeed, there's no other explanation. Am has already fallen victim to the woman's skill. For the sake of the victim, sprinkling pain medication onto her food is a founding principle here. If Barafin implanted a false thought like that using her skill, that's when the victim began consuming large doses of pain medication with her meals. That continued right up to the moment she died. Miss M began to believe that such a thing was what the victim wanted. Then if that's the case, a murderer is... that con artist! It was rather sudden, but it seemed we figured out who our culprit is. Miss Shia Barafin. She's the mastermind behind this crime. Okay, that's it for this episode. Wow, I was right about assuming there were more threat levels. I just didn't expect it to go from tank to atomic bomb. And to think that there is another one beyond atomic bomb. What? Is it gold nova, supernova, black hole, wormhole? And let me guess. There's only one person with that rank. And that person died or something, I don't know. But anyway, I'll think about that later on. Much later on. I must say, it's messed up that they put a kid in there. What are the chances? Oh great. Someone's calling me, hold on. Okay, finished that phone call. Yeah, a lot of people have been calling me, huh? Okay. So, where was I? Oh yeah, I talked about the ranks, how there are hidden ranks, and a child being kept in basically solitary confinement. How long are they kept there? For the rest of their life? Are there more? I don't think there are any more in London, at least. So I guess they are that rare. They're like the level 5s, the level 5 espers in Tuaru, or what's it called? The Saints in Tuaru. Very rare, very powerful. But, you know, at least they're allowed to roam around. The espers, at least, are allowed to roam around. Not sure about the Saints. But what are the chances of you guys knowing what Tuaru is? I don't know. Anyway, not really much to say about the case. It's just... not much happened. Maybe next episode we'll get a taste of Shia's abilities or something. I don't know. Maybe she'll do something to Thena, Brian, Note, or maybe Redfin, I guess. Also, I wonder if there is a thing between Notrick and Redfin. I wonder, you know? Maybe. I guess we'll see. Next time. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my playthrough of Stafford Case. And if you like what you see, stay tuned and stay awesome. Good night.